Welcome to another edition of Newport Business Insights. Today, we will explore the impact of the pandemic fracture on supply chains of middle market companies. I'm joined today by Newport partners Sam Simmons and Kevin Poole. Sam is a partner in our Boston office where he focuses on consumer products, retail, and manufacturing. Sam brings over 30 years of CEO and COO experience, including leadership roles at Federated Department Stores, Macy's, specialty store chains, mid-market wholesalers, and startups. Kevin is based in our San Francisco office and is both Newport's CEO and co-leader of our West Coast practice. He spent over 20 years at GE during the Jack Welch era in a variety of senior operating positions, followed by 12 years at EY and Capgemini, where he led their supply chain practice. Welcome, Sam and Kevin. So Sam, let's start with you. Over the last few months, we've heard a lot about supply chains, but just so we're all starting on the same page, could you tell us exactly what a supply chain is?
Thank you, Lynn. The industry definition of supply chain is a network between a company and its suppliers to produce and distribute a specific product to the final customer. This network includes different activities, people, entities, information, and resources. An optimized supply chain results in lower cost and a faster production cycle with the appropriate quality standards in the final product. So, as you can see, supply chain management is a complex process that is customized by industry segment and specific businesses within the segment.
Thanks, Sam. Now, for both of you, as individuals who have spent much of your careers dealing with supply chains, can you tell us what are the 2 or 3 trends that you are watching right now?
Well, Lynn, I'll go ahead and take the first crack at that. So certainly one of the most profound trends we're seeing now is really the massive disruption to both global and local supply chains, inbound and outbound. And now, historically, companies primarily optimize their supply chain to minimize costs, which led to things like sourcing from offshore, predominantly China, but also practicing things like just-in-time inventory. Well, that seemed to work just fine up to now, but once the pandemic hit, 2 disruptions occurred simultaneously. First, when China shut down their manufacturing capabilities because of the pandemic, that put pressure on companies' inbound supply chains. And second, when the pandemic closed up sales channels like brick and mortar outlets and restaurants here in the US, that put tremendous pressure on companies' outbound supply chains and trying to reach their customers. So going forward, increasingly companies must be thinking about how to optimize their supply chains, not just for cost, but also resiliency. So on the vendor side, that will mean doing things like moving supply chains closer to home, developing alternate sources of supply, and likely holding on to greater inventory levels. On the customer side, it's going to involve developing a more diversified set of channels to reach your clients so that you can get your product to market no matter what.
Thanks, Kevin. It sounds like many middle market companies have quite a bit of work to do. So Sam, given your deep background in e-commerce, could you perhaps dive into this notion of ensuring you have multiple options for reaching your clients?
Sure, with those trends in mind that Kevin reviewed, the key question might be around what are the several actions companies must take to quickly bolster their e-commerce capabilities given the post-COVID changes. There's been a rise of online shoppers. It's also shortened customers' patience. They do not want to deal with the difficult return policies or long waits for orders. Online behavior and buying preferences are evolving constantly. So how do you encourage consumers to visit your website given these characteristics in behavior and trends? A couple of ideas. First, build your brand. Your brand is your purpose. Your brand is a key word that runs your engine of your site. Improve your search engine optimization through maintenance of the keywords. Make your site easy to navigate and easy to find. Create expectations of a great user experience. Consider using the omni-channel strategy. Build on convenience and safety of online shopping. Use transparency to build trust. Use tools like loyalty programs and unique selling propositions. And lastly, boost overall engagement. Understand your generational pull for your brand. And above all else, think mobile.
Excellent. Thanks, Sam, and thanks, Kevin. This has been a great discussion. Stay tuned for more Insights episodes where we will be diving deeper into other supply chain issues. For anyone wanting to connect directly with Sam or with Kevin, reach out to the Newport LLC website where you can find links to all of the Newport partners. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to stay with Newport as we work to keep you ahead of the unique business challenges facing us today. Be vigilant, be creative, and as always, stay safe.